Alrighty, folks, this is our live Q&A. This is something that I look forward to giving inside our school community. Now that the Vegas event is over, I've had my roughly month to recuperate in Asia. I look forward to doing these more and more. In my current schedule, I have an open block most weekends on Sunday. And for the foreseeable future, I will be setting 8 a.m. on Sunday just for our school community. I will be updating the calendar sometime during the week because, again, we do travel here and there. But you can expect at least twice a month. I will be going live right here in school. This is a free form session. I have no plan, no pitch, no nothing. I would just love to hear from each and every one of you. So if you have questions about anything, I am game. If you want to go ahead and ask me a question, you can raise your hand, put it in the comments. You can get on screen like James has. Hey, James, how are you? Thank you for being here. Let's see. Any questions? Let me go take a gander at the chat. We got good mornings. You guys are so kind. One word until at a time, folks, are so nice. Lots of good mornings, but no questions. At least no questions that I see as of yet. So anybody game to ask some questions? Oh, maybe we got one down here. What does the future hold for the I'm going to guess, James, you mean investor. That could also be inventor. Oh, investors. Yeah, let's talk about that. So I actually spoke at Deal Champ on Friday morning. And then actually I spoke at Ryan Pineda's event on Wednesday. And both of those presentations were pretty similar. And the message I tried to get everybody to take away is that I truly believe 2025, so the year we're in, is the year of the investor. Why do I say that? Well, let me ask you just a couple of logical questions. One, if you are truly an investor, not a homeowner, not a home buyer, not primary, just an investor, do you want more or less competition? And the only answer is less, right? If you are looking to buy something, you want less competition. Okay, great. I think it's reasonable to assume that 2025 is always going to be a hard year. And I believe what has transpired over the last, call it 3 business days, call it calendar week, has made it even worse. If you are a home buyer and you were nervous about job loss, you were nervous about a recession, now you're staring at headlines that say trade war and all of these other things. Can you logically look yourself in the mirror as a home buyer who doesn't follow the economy, doesn't understand chaos, and really sign a contract to buy a home today? Most people are just going to sit on their wallet. They're going to sign a lease to extend, and they're just going to punt until 26. That is my opinion. Okay, great. So I think it is beyond 50-50 that demand goes down because of what transpired over the last, call it, week. Okay, great. So if demand goes down and we head into a slower economy, maybe a recession, maybe not, worse unemployment probably. Is it crazy? Probably not, but worse. We are going to see more and more supply, right? If you are an investor, do you want more supply or less? You want more, right? So far we have less demand and more supply. Having done this for 25 years, when that happens, there is one subtle thing that most people miss. The percentage of motivated sellers goes through the roof. Some people have to sell. And in an environment with lower demand and higher supply, you are going to see more and more people have to sell. Now, do they have to sell because of some life event? Maybe. But some people are going to have to sell because they're driving themselves crazy by looking at the headlines all the time. And then the final answer for real estate investors, and it's why I have changed my strategy. I changed my strategy on Friday. On Friday? On Thursday. I guess on Thursday. Thursday is when Ty and I had that call. We published it Friday. I legitimately changed my strategy Thursday morning, 8 or 9 o'clock, once the Dow was down 1,000 points for the first time, let alone on Friday. And that is my belief, is that mortgage rates are going to get cheaper. I will likely be doing a portfolio loan, extracting high six, possibly even seven figures, and I will be going shopping for distressed assets. My old strategy was very, very much a repeat of what I did in '06. Sell a house, buy an apartment. Sell a house, buy an apartment. In fact, it's a lazy strategy because I didn't have to think about it. I was just waiting for Class B and Class C to break. I have all of these houses. I would 1031 out of the houses into this multifamily. Lazy strategy, waiting for extended pretend to break. Now, with rates coming down and probably coming down even more, at least that's my plan, I will be raising capital and going on an asset buying binge. If you study the greats like I have, not only the greats in real estate, but the greats in the stock market and hedge funds, um, typically speaking, there's an opportunity every 10 years or so to make massive moves. And it is my personal belief that should this continue on the path we're in, we are going to have that opportunity to create some massive moves. So I think 2025 is the year of the investor. I am excited. I'm going to have to work harder, right? Because the old strategy was very much just wait for stuff to break and go. Now I got to go look at different assets. Because again, the assets might be a multifamily, they might be houses, they might be small office, they might be mixed use. Shoot, it might be stocks for all I know. I have no idea what I'll be buying now. But when you have excess capital and you have the world crumbling around you, go find your gold bars, go find the diamonds on the ground, and make some moves. So I'm excited for what investors have in 25. Home buyers, specifically first-time home buyers, oi, oi, 25 is going to be rough. Scared, fearful, rates. Banks could be pulling back. Let's not forget lending institutions can pull back. It could get wild out there. So again, I got a feel for first-time home buyers. They usually make up 40% of the market. I think last time I saw it, NAR reported it was 28, so still historically low. So that's what I think. Jim, it looks like you got your hand up. Thank you for raising your hand. Let's get to your question.
I'll give you. I was at Deal Chance like you were.
Oh, great.
So how do you? I'm going to take all my notes from that, put it in a file, probably file it away because I don't have the bandwidth right now to go through all of those notes. That's my basic question to you: is what do you do with those events? Because you're at so many of them, you get a lot of information.
Yeah, so what I typically do at events like that, it's actually something that I'm doing for multiple decades. So when I'm at an event, I take notes for every speaker. Then what I will do, probably it has to be one day, worst case 2 days after, is I will go through each speaker and I will highlight the golden nugget, like the thing from each speaker that I took. Right. So, at Deal Champs, I think there was, I don't know, call it 10 speakers, maybe 12. So I would have 12 things. And then the next day I would go through those 12 things and find the two or three that help. All I'm trying to do from events like that is to find the two or three things that could change my business, a new relationship. That's all I'm looking for. I'm not looking to peel off all of those presentations. I just want the two or three things. Otherwise, you just drive yourself crazy and you never move forward, in my opinion.
That's the exact point. Because it's not only the speakers, it's also the audience. Because you're having so much interaction with everybody. It's a
Yeah.
lot of information overload.
Yeah. So again, it's when you're there, right? You paid to be there. So almost like you're a student, take all the notes that you think are interesting. Like, so today or tomorrow, I would go through my notebook and I would literally highlight with a highlighter the one thing from each of these that will produce a list of 10 to 12. And then the next day I would go through and find my two or three. And then those are the two or three. That was what I did with the Bruce Norris event way back in the day, right? I remember highlighting affordability index. I'm like, dude, I don't know what that is. I got to go research that. And that one highlight, which was the big takeaway from that event, because he is such a data nerd, he was even over my head. I was like, I got to go figure out that thing. So those are the things I'm looking for. The two or three things that I could change my business.
Thank you.
Of course. Of course, of course, of course. So, James, I close in a week on a condo. Congratulations. Make sure when it closes, you let me know. So I'll send you a gold or black ticket, whatever is appropriate. Actually, I owe Angela I think a gold ticket. I gotta have a list of people, Angela. I'm sorry. I'll try to get that done today.
I've been, not standing by the mailbox, but eager
Yeah.
anticipation.
Was it a gold or a black one? Was it gold, right?
It's my first one.
Yeah, gold. All right.
It's the first of this year.
Okay. I like it. I like it. Where are my gold tickets? All right. I will I have your address saved. I will make
Oh,
sure I do that.
beautiful.
Yeah, I gotta get these out of my office to where I do most of my thinking. That way I can just write them out. I'll move some black cards up there too. All right, I will get that done today. And then don't worry, you'll get shout out on daily financial news. So it never gets mailed until people get a shout out on the news. So you'll get a shout out tomorrow, I hope. Hopefully I remember.
Oh, terrific. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. It's only fair. You did the work, you should get the props. Uh, Lower rates won't motivate buyers to enter the market if there's too much uncertainty. Oh, that is exactly right. I mean, in theory, with what has gone on the last 48 hours, let's just pretend for a moment you're I don't know, a 31, 32-year-old couple, no kids, you've been saving for a down payment, you have, I don't know, call it 10, 12, 15 grand in the bank, and suddenly the market falls 10% in a couple of days, and you've been looking for a home. And oh, by the way, if you're 31 or 32, this is your first real, wake up call, right? The pandemic was just kind of such a V-shaped recovery, it didn't even matter. But you're likely not signing that purchase agreement this weekend. And if you're in contract, how many cancellations do you think happened in the last 48 hours? Can you imagine a first-time home buyer signing a purchase agreement last weekend before any of this? Then you have this craziness on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday with talks of a 1987 Black Monday from Jim Cramer on Monday. How many people are canceling right now? So you're absolutely right. Eventually, lower rates will bring buyers back. But until we get past this wild uncertainty in this seemingly chaotic event, demand is going to crater. You're absolutely right. You could essentially charge zero rates, and other than investors, I think a lot of homeowners would still sit on the sidelines.
So eventually means, I know we have to watch the market, but eventually,
I can't imagine. So again, we're sitting at a fork. So let's play out the good way. Let's say, for example, President Trump and his administration start taking victory laps. And what does that look like? Vietnam dropped all of their tariffs. Israel dropped all of their tariffs. India dropped, you get the drill, right?
right.
They start doing that. And let's say they start doing that, tonight in the Rose Garden or tomorrow. It's got to be soon. Let's say over the course of 7 to 10 days, they take 30 victory laps. That is probably enough to create some calm. Like, that's the best case scenario from where I sit, is victory laps get taken quickly and in rapid fire, right? And I'm talking one at a time. I'm not talking like 5 announcements on one day. If they're going to do this right, let's make it a celebration in one at a time. But let's play the other side. Like, what's the worst case scenario? The worst case scenario is we've already seen China announce a 34% tariff, which frankly probably to be expected. The one I am watching is Europe. What goes on in the EU? Right now, it sounds like the EU is, I don't know, planning. Could they negotiate like India and Vietnam? Sure. Could they go the route of China? Sure. Those are all possible. And it is also possible that Trump continues to double down. I've been checking my phone all morning. I was obviously get ready for the daily financial news, waiting for any hints that he might be softening on April 9th, right? April 9th is when all these go into impact, right? There was some hope by some that with all the people clamoring that he would go, okay, instead of the 9th, let's do the 16th. Near as I can tell, as of this morning, his people are on the wires going, nope, going into effect. So, yeah, it's again, if you were to ask me right now, it certainly feels more worst case scenario than best case scenario, but that could change in a heartbeat, right? It
Any
could
minute.
change in a
Yeah. I mean,
tweet.
with the spring market, I mean, I'm just kind of watching it
Yep.
closely,
Yeah.
and I want
Yeah.
to, I'm eager to buy the next one. So I don't want to,
No, this is exactly what this is what I meant by the year of the investors. All of us should be getting our pencils out, right? There's this saying in commercial real estate the last couple of years, quote unquote, pencils were down. Pencils need to be up,
hmm
right? If you get the opportunity and you find a truly motivated seller, you will shock yourself at the deals you can make. You will shock yourself at seller financing. You will shock yourself at second mortgages and all of these other things. This is the time where investors go, what kind of great deal can I create? So your pencil should be in your hand. You should be writing lots of offers. You should be excited, but also you should know you don't have to do anything, right? Which should be freeing, right? We don't have to buy a home because our kids have to go in that school district. It's a very different feeling being a home buyer, like an owner occ. We are only going to create good or great deals. And frankly, in this environment, they should only be great deals. So yeah, I'm happy to hear, Angela, and hopefully everybody here is excited, maybe a little nervous, but that's okay. It's okay to be nervous. It means you're being careful about what's coming. So yeah, I'm more excited now than I've been in 5 years because I've been through three cycles like this. I know what it means when demand falls off a cliff. Everybody sits on their wallet. I'm like, oh great, I get to even be more aggressive. So I look forward to that. Jim, you have your hand up again, I think.
Yes. So I closed on my first property last month.
Oh,
Uh,
nice. I owe you a
I've
call.
got a half acre up in Calaveras County.
Hmm.
I'm going to turn one of them into a long-term rental, one of them into a short-term rental because I want to try
Okay.
out both systems. And
Very good.
I only need them to cash flow a little bit because
Okay.
I want to try those systems, get everything in place, and then I'll get my money back completely and
Right.
make, I'm guessing between 60 and 80K because one of the houses was 1947, one is 1941.
Oh.
One of them is not even on record.
I've bought houses like that.
Yeah, so I have to go through that process and everything else. They'll probably hit me with some fees. So I'm not exactly sure how much all that will be, but I'll still cash flow out. And get my and I pull the HELOC to do that.
Okay.
Then I was gonna once that's all stabilized, hopefully June, July, I was gonna go out of state and do a test with that same money from a HELOC. I'm gonna try Gary because I already know a bunch of people in this
Yeah.
community that have property there.
Bunch of people,
So
that's for sure. Yep.
exactly. So I wanted to do that system too, get all my
Okay.
systems in place this year. That way I have a big, because I want all value add. Everything I want to do is value add because I'm a contractor.
Right. Makes total sense. Yep.
Yeah, okay. So that was my thing. I'm trying to run this through as many people as I can because I value people's opinions and then I take it for what I see out of it.
Yeah.
So
No, I think if you have the skill set of being a contractor and obviously the relationships to do the other stuff maybe that you don't want to do, um, lean into that, right? You
yeah.
should absolutely lean into your skill set. And if
Yeah,
I was that
that's my
guy,
power. I don't want to
yeah.
do this wholesaling thing. That's no.
No, know thyself. Know thyself.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly. And then your comments on the trade or the tariffs and stuff. I'm actually more worried in 2 to 3 years. We still have Sonoma fires we're dealing with. We still have Paradise. Now we have LA. We have Maui and the tariffs. That's just a massive perfect storm coming up for shortage of materials, for shortage of labor, everything.
No,
I'm
I
worried
I'm
about that in 2 to 3 years.
the inflation that could come out of this if it goes the wrong way and we go more protectionism versus open is larger than most people think.
Yeah.
I mean, if you set the dominoes and you try to paint the darkest path, you really can get to 5, 6, 7% inflation. You really can. It's not even that hard. Yeah. So it's a valid concern. It is certainly my hope that this chessboard, which maybe appears unplanned today, I'm hoping there's a plan behind there somewhere. I think I have the utmost respect for Scott Bessent. I knew of him before he was in the Trump administration. He was one of the architects behind the breaking of the UK. I'm going to say the UK dollar. I forget the pound. I guess it was the pound. So he's no dummy in the financial world. So I'm going to hope he has a master plan that I don't see. But there are plenty of days where I'm like, dude, there's no plan here. It's just one tweet at a time.
Yeah.
But we're gonna find out together. And again, my job is not to worry about, what's going on in DC. My job is to understand the macro picture, understand what rules or changes might be disturbing the macro picture, and then I make micro decisions for my family and our community. So I don't care if Trump's in there, Kamala, Biden, Bush. Doesn't matter. I'm looking at what rules of the road are changing, and then making micro decisions on that. And oh, by the way, there will be a new president in 3.5 years or whatever it is, and we'll have to do that all over again.
I'm sorry, the president doesn't affect me.
No.
I don't understand how it affects what people think it affects them. It takes
No,
such a long time to trickle down that it just you got to live your life.
The day to day, and especially one tweet at a time, and you're gonna give yourself an ulcer if you react to all of that.
Yeah.
It's just a macro picture. The tax changes to deregulation. There are some macro things that I'm looking for, like you say, tariffs, right? If you're really going to go out and you're going to take building costs, you're going to take lumber from Canada, for example, and you're going to make it 15% more expensive. Well, guess what? DR Horton and all these KB homes, they're gonna raise prices or eat margin, right? So there's things that I could watch. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, your local government means a lot more than the president. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you.
Of course. Hello, Charles, Pear, A. Rents. You guys got a question? How are you?
We do. So I have a question about gonna change things from what you guys were talking about.
Sure.
YouTube videos in general. So when we were at the ORAD event, Omar, I believe it was Omar, was talking about how to create your content.
Yep.
And when we watch your videos on YouTube, it's funny because immediately following Coach Carlson's videos come right. And so I'm just trying to figure out, is it algorithms? Like, someone help give me some insight on this? Sorry, I'm grabbing a pad of paper to write down.
So just so I make sure I understand your question, are you asking about how you're consuming, or are you asking me how you can create content? Just so I'm clear.
Both.
Okay. Yeah. So let's talk about consumption first, because that's pretty easier. The algorithms. Some people today are calling it AI. It's all math. I mean, I sold AI technology, machine learning technology for 10 years. So, what was machine learning is now AI. It's just crazy talk. But the algorithm is basically taking your input, AKA consumption, and its whole job. This is what most people need to realize. The whole job of the YouTube algorithm is to keep you in YouTube. Right? It doesn't want you to leave YouTube. So it's doing its best job to give you similar content that you have been watching. So if you watch my daily financial news, or if you watch the Three Amigos or whatever, it's not shocking to me that you get a Coach Carson, right? It's similar. He's on my channel, so there's some links there, I'm sure. But you wouldn't get, bingo or fishing videos, because you haven't watched those. So the algorithm, once you internalize it, and it's the same for TikTok and IG and all of these other things, all they're trying to do is keep you on platform. That's why if you guys ever in YouTube and you're like, hey, drop the link, give me the link, they'll delete the link almost immediately because it takes you off platform. Right?
Oh.
I can't put a CNBC link there or a Bloomberg link there. They'll just delete it because they don't want you to leave the platform. So that's consumption. Now creation. So having now done 15,000 videos and talked with some of the best in the business, like Sean, Omar, Meet Kevin, Graham, Stefan, all those guys, I will tell you my order of thinking. Number one is the thumbnail. The thumbnail is the eye candy that brings in new users, right? Because, and again, right or wrong, a scary or negative or fear-based thumbnail, you're like like all the Crash Bros. If you want to know how to grow fast, go look at the Crash Bros. It's a house on fire. It's all red and yellow. It's the game. If you want to grow fast, produce fearful thumbnails. Second, title. I used to want to maximize the title. I think the titles can have 100 characters. I have now come to realize I try to keep them about 30 characters because I don't want the title to scroll off the screen if I can avoid it. So in my opinion, I've been trying this for the last 6 months. Shorter is better. And then third, you have to, and this is where I still struggle because I don't edit videos. I have to think of a title that I'm going to talk about for the first 30 to 60 seconds. Because if your thumbnail and your title don't match the first 30 to 60 seconds, you're going to get a lot of these viewers click off and go somewhere else. Sean Cannell calls that the hook. So where I have to get better, because again, I don't edit videos, is I have to think ahead. Like, what am I going to talk about first? And then I try to get a short title, and then my team in Mexico does the thumbnail. I don't waste my time creating thumbnails because I'm not good at it. So that's what I think about creation.
So the follow-up question there is, even if I'm watching Coach Carlson, his videos will follow him. But if I'm consuming you or Dion, I would hope to find, would not have to go search for yours or Dion's.
So I think there's probably a couple of things in what Dion and I, and probably even the Lumberjack, are doing. Inside the videos, we could create what's called, I think they're called title cards, or they're called in cards. And the in card actually is a Coach Carson video that he says, hey, if you like this, go here next. And it will force that to the lead. It's something I don't do. I don't think Dion does. We're not trying to build a pipeline or leads or all of that. It takes additional work, not a lot of work, probably, I don't know, 20 minutes maybe, but it's not that it's not important, but I would choose to use that 20 minutes with Olivia instead of doing that. Just reality. It's like, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm comfortable with what I'm doing. I'll say it this way. If I was only doing like 5 videos a week, I would absolutely use end cards. But you guys know, I got like 3 or 4 videos a day.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's,
I just got to become better at being on the camera. I am very much an introverted person who married an extroverted person.
But I don't.
That's a great combo.
I don't like being on camera either.
Yeah.
So,
And I'm like, well, we're gonna have to do this. Here we go.
Yeah. No, it just takes practice. I mean, again, I think I've told this story in the past. I was actually it might shock all of you, but I was an introvert. High school through first year of college, like I could be in a room, a classroom, whatever it is, and not say a word to anybody and be totally happy. Then I go to this public speaking course, which changed my life. It gave me the ability to tell stories, to have eye contact, remove the ums and the ahs and all of that. And that one class, in fact, it's the only class I can think of that, helped me make millions of dollars, was that public speaking class. So if in doubt, there's Toastmasters. If you could go to a junior college, I think my junior college at the time charged me $8 a unit. I don't know what they are today, but they're probably cheap. Or you can go to Toastmasters. That you will get out of your comfort zone. And I would recommend it. It's a great thing to do.
If I may, with a piggyback question that's totally off subject.
Yeah.
We're like Peoria, Illinois.
Okay.
A lot of rural and expensive houses.
Sure.
Versus the buy bigger and better without the cash flow. We're still at the building phase. I'm 54, looking to step out in 10 years.
Okay. I like it.
And we've got a little bit of money, actual cash funds that we don't like. I've never had to take a bank loan yet. And we're starting doing research there.
Cool. So what's the question? So far,
advice on how do you like little ones versus the better ones?
again, you're looking for cash flow getting out in 10 years. Again, what I would do is just get one. Right. That's what your goal needs to be. I always think it's better closer rather than farther away if you can. So that would be in your backyard. I would I would not add extra pressure. Like sometimes people, they get with me and they're like, I'm going to do one a year for 10 years, or maybe in year 4 we'll do two. Stop that. Don't 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 do that. Get a buy box, look at it every day, go drive by properties, go talk to people. Just do the work. And the whole goal again of doing the work is to figure out what an average yield is. So what I would try to do in the next 60 days, is whether it's building a spreadsheet like we do in our course, you've just got to figure out what the average yield is in, I'm going to say Peoria, your area. And then what you do is you go, okay, great. An average yield in my area is 7%. I'm just making it up. Then you need to go, okay, great. If average is 7, that means we need to do 9, 10, or 11. And that means for most of you, you got to write lower offers. And again, as I talked about right at the beginning, I think you're going to get that opportunity. There are plenty of people in Peoria who have a house that hasn't been updated, hasn't been touched. They need to sell it. They want to go move by their grandkids, whatever it is. And sometimes a low offer is better than no offer. So I hope you all are excited for what's coming in 25.
Sure.
Because you're going to have those opportunities. So yeah, I would tell you to get focused on one. That would be my biggest advice.
In January, we bought a duplex.
Oh, nice. Okay.
It was at 70. It was like right before we went. We paid 29. So,
all right.
It's been on the MLS for a year, but it's in an area that people don't want to normally service, and that's our third.
I would buy that without knowing. It sounds like a perfect Zuber deal. I would have bought
that. front and back, new roof in 18.
Oh my gosh, a new roof too.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys are slow playing it. You are on the path. Yeah, I would. Rinse and repeat. Do it again. Yeah, find those oddballs. Find those 100-day listings. Those 306. Everybody listening should go to their MLS and figure out what properties have been on the market 100 days. You know how so when you find a property that's on the market 100 days, only one of two things are true. One, it's full of wish pricing. Like the seller's like, I'm getting my number no matter what. Okay, great. Cross those off. The other ones probably aren't getting sniffed at. So, go write a crazy offer. Yeah.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
All right, we got James. He said, just hit my limit on Fannie Freddie loans. Thoughts on going straight DSCR loans, or should I consider refinancing? Again, I reserve the right to change my opinion as of today, which I'll put a date here, April 6th, 2025. DSCR loans are as good, if not better, than conventional. So I have no problem with DSCR loans today. You could get a DSCR loan in the 6s, 6.5-ish. Convoy Home Loans, we talk about it almost each and every week. Lending Tree we talked to the other day. It's actually, the video is coming out tomorrow, Monday. That's an awesome video. DSCR loans don't scare me, but the reason I wanted to put a date on it and say I reserve the right to change my opinion, if things go sideways in the economy, Wall Street could pull back on DSCR loans. And I've seen this twice already where DSCR loans disappear overnight. So that is a possibility. I currently don't see that, but that's why I wanted to put a date on it. So as of today, the 6th of April, I get DSCR loans. That's my last. Gosh, I guess my house in Vegas. Oh, that was a builder, so that doesn't count. I can't remember the last conventional loan I got. DSCR loans are just easier for me. Part of that's because I have a crazy tax return, but yeah. So DSCR loans are no reason to be afraid of DSCR loans as of today, in my opinion. Rob, where will you be looking for unspecified deals, Vegas, Fresno, or does the target area increase with asset variability? Good question. So I will be probably 80-20 focused. So let me step back. So if it's real estate, I'll be 80% focused on Fresno. That's where my team is. That's where I know everything. The other 20% will actually be in Henderson, just to be very clear. My buy box is Henderson, not Vegas. I don't want to split hairs, but I want to be just upfront with everybody. So it's going to be 80-20 in real estate. I really want a solid rental in Henderson. I am starting to think. I talk to Vegas agents a couple times a week. The market is slowing down, so I might get my chance this year. My guess in Vegas is I will probably get super aggressive in July and August just because it's so gosh darn hot and demand goes down. I saw that last year when I was researching. I want to compete when I have less competition. That's why I'm excited about 25. So if you do that inside a market like Vegas where it's 115 at like 8 a.m., not a lot of people shopping for homes. So that's my current wishful thinking is we get something in July or August. And then outside of real estate, I'm going to, one thing I'm excited about is I'm going to learn, right? Bo Eckstein, who's on every Thursday, I think, or Wednesday, talking about buying small businesses. I'm excited about services business in real estate. I'm excited about maybe buying some vending machines, right? I'm this change that I had on Thursday morning, going from a boring rinse and repeat what I did last time to, oh my gosh, assets are going to be on sale. And oh, by the way, those assets might be outside of real estate. I got to tell you, I got a little tingle, a little excitement. So, I'll be taking you guys on the road, but that's my best answer, Rob, for that question. Any more hands? Don't see any hands. Let's see some comments. Not the 16th anniversary. Okay. I forgot why. The 16th tariffs. I think that's what's a reference. Value had always been attractive. I'm ashamed I took so long to take initiative. That's all right, Ryan. You're taking initiative now. Jen, what do you think it will look like 26 if 25 plays out as you assume? We are stabilizing properties now, so tying up capital until next year. So I, again, as my current broken crystal ball, the rest of 25 is chaotic. Demand disappears. My current crystal ball says we have a recession. I do believe it's short. I don't think it's going to be as shallow as people think, but it will be short, meaning it's over in 25, my opinion. I think 2026 is a baseline year. We're still going to be cleaning up. There's still going to be plenty of opportunity. If we get this recession out of the way, which again, recessions are natural parts of the business cycle, we could have a good 6 to 10 years. And good does not mean, prices. It just means an economy that's functioning. GDP is growing. So I see lots of chaos in 25. And I think 26, 27, 28, 29 each get incrementally better. But I will say, Jen, to your question about not having cash, you're in this community for a reason. You won one of those belts at the Vegas event. I would tell you not to shortchange yourself. The last time we went through something like this, Olivia and I ended up picking up 3 or 4 more properties when we really didn't have capital, right? I remember one time I got a car loan. Like I had a Lexus that was paid off. I went and got a car loan because the deal was that good. We got our first private money one time from a buddy of ours who wanted 10% interest. So I know you're not doing this, but I just want to say this for everyone else. Don't stop shopping. You just never know when the deal of a lifetime comes around. Don't pigeonhole yourself by saying, I can't buy till 2026. You just got to buy different. And oh, by the way, if it doesn't come around, that's okay. You tried. But yeah, you guys got this. Romel, you got your hand up, bud.
Yeah, I know you're not a fan of the Airbnbs lately, but I feel like the last couple of years when people were buying because of the shiny object syndrome. Now I've seen a lot of Airbnbs either like being on sale. I talked to one lady that was she basically 1031 into an Airbnb in Big Bear, where Big Bear is.
Big Bear, yeah. I know plenty of people in Big Bear, yeah.
Right. Then she's selling for $100,000 under. and she wants a traditional sale. I asked her, she has no mortgage. She 1031 into it.
Mm.
So what's your thoughts on like now that Airbnb, it seems like everybody's trying to exit because of this recession. They can't. That's kind of like the low hanging fruit as far as like letting go of an investment because it is
Yeah.
work. It's not a passive investment.
Yeah.
But what do you think about opportunities with like these people that are trying to get rid of these Airbnbs? Maybe having you take over their loan, or
Yeah.
you can buy it under what
Yeah.
they bought for. What's your take on it?
Yeah. So I want to step back. I'll answer all of that. And if I don't, ask me again. I'm not anti Airbnb. I'm anti people that think it's easy. Right. I think there was a lot of pretenders and frauds and gurus that came in. And frankly, I didn't like being made fun of. They called me a boomer. They called me a boomer at these real estate events. The old buy and hold yearly lease guy. They were making fun of me, dude. So I am a little annoyed. I will admit. I carry that baggage. I'm a little petty. I will admit, but it's fun for me. But if you're going to do Airbnb and you realize, dude, I don't know. I mean, I think you know this, but for the audience, the IRS does not look at Airbnb the same way they look at long-term leases. It's active, not passive, right? Which, oh, by the way, unlocks a lot of tax advantages if you do it correctly. So I'm not opposed to it. If you want to be, an Airbnb host and you want to do short-term rentals or midterm rentals or furnished rentals or whatever, I'm all game. But everything I talk about doesn't change. Get a buy box, learn the numbers, write disrespectful offers. How you choose to produce income doesn't change any of the homework that I give you. The next thing I will tell you in your story, you didn't give me price points, so I have no idea if 100 grand off is a lot or a little, right? For all I know, it's $1 million property or a 200K property.
No, it was like 550 to like 450 or
Yeah, so
465.
that's 20. That's 20%. That's okay. I will tell you that I hear people, and I'm not saying this is you, Romel, but I hear stuff like this all the time. And people come to me like, Michael, it's a great deal. It's 100K off. I'm like, who said? How do you know? Right? Have you run the numbers? Because it's not about the discount at all. It's not about, Michael, I'm buying it for 100K less than she did 2 years ago. It has to be a deal. No, it doesn't. The rules could have completely changed in Big Bear. You might have 35 listings coming on, and the price should be 50% off. Right? That's the work that I want you to do. I don't want anybody to be enamored by a discount or a paid this or that less than the last guy. The last guy might have, been stupid, right? Used a 1031 money in this example and had to pay that price or pay taxes. So I'm not saying that is you, Romel. I'm just doing this for the audience who might see, hey, it's 100K off. It has to be a deal. I'm going to pay list price. No, you don't. I can't remember the last property I paid list price for. I mean, that means I didn't buy a lot in, 22, at least not on the MLS. But guys, you don't have to pay list price. So I would just tell you to, if you want to do Airbnb, just realize it's a business and go for it. Get the best deals you can. The other thing, I talk to Airbnb folks. The one on the channel you may know is Anna Kelly. One thing that she taught me about Airbnb is, Michael, if you're going to be in the short-term rental game and you want to be able to survive recessions, you've got to buy the nicest property you can possibly afford.
Oh, yeah.
Now in Anna's world, that means beachfront, oceanfront. Because what happens in recessions is, the rich people that fly off to Europe will rent an oceanfront property, before they go to Europe in a recession. So that's advice she gave me. So I'll impart that closing thought, Romel.
Thanks.
Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Thanks.
Good. And good luck. Good luck. Jim, you got your hand up?
I'm looking at Amador, Calaveras, and Mariposa counties. I've followed a whole bunch of properties, put a bunch of offers and really low offers. So I'm following a lot of these because some of them sold for numbers that I just don't understand because they're houses I wouldn't take at the prices they took them for. And I know how the numbers and what I was going to do with them. So I'm trying to follow them to see what they do with them and everything else, because I want to know that what ends up happening.
I think more people should do that. I mean, that was something I did a lot during the Great Recession. Because again, there are times where just people pay more than you and like way more than you. Or like, how does that make sense? I think it's a great idea if it fits your schedule just to drive by and go, hey, what, because you never know. Maybe they found a new hole in the market, or maybe they know some regulation where they're going to turn a house into a fourplex. So I think that's a great thing to do.
Yeah, a couple of them are right next to my property, so I'm hoping they're going to be doing some rehab when I'm doing my rehab, so I can go over there and have some conversations.
Yeah, like I can't believe you paid that.
Yeah.
But
Well,
what's the
I want to
plan?
know their theory because one
Yeah.
of the properties it's a mobile home, which my real estate agent and my broker do not like mobile homes at all. But I like the idea because I can rehab that one, and then I was going to build another house on the property.
Yeah,
But
so every once in a while I drive by a mobile home. And again, mobile homes are very different across the country. The thing that I would want to touch is it has to be fixed to the ground. And you have to have the lot. Like the land has to be yours. You're not paying a lot fee to some
yeah, this particular property was all of that. But
Yeah,
they
so I
still
think
don't like them because they're still, even if they're fixed to the ground, they're still a mobile, so they're still
yeah,
a
no, yeah,
depreciating asset.
lending is
Yeah.
different, insurance is different. But at some point, I mean, I've known people to get mobile homes for a dollar, right? Because the seller's just done with it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's pretty
Well,
easy to make money when you.
but one thing that most people don't know is mobile homes, you actually have to file with the state and with, because it's a DMV type thing,
DMV,
and it's
yes,
also a state thing.
yep.
So you're actually going through two different departments, and neither one of them called me back when I was asking questions.
Sounds like California to me. Yeah,
Exactly. Yes.
yeah,
Thanks again.
no problem. All right. See, I'm going to keep going in the comments. Again, this is all for you guys. Thank you for doing this with me, by the way, spending some time with me Sunday morning. We got financial firefighter back east. Stacy. Okay, what do we got? Got surprised with a 500 monthly increase in property tax on 4/1. Former owner had a homestead credit on the duplex illegally. Ooh, okay. An increase in expense. We only owned it for a year. Duplex hubby calls it cursed. Oh, I'm so sorry. It also has 2 acres. Mo. Windows. Should we consider to exchange? Stick it out after escrow shortage pay. Oof.
Jen
Yeah.
had a
So,
question. Did you see that?
you have a question?
No,
The question.
Jen.
Oh, Jen. I don't see it. Or I'm scrolling down, so if it's below. Oh, Jen has a question?
It's below all the introvert conversation going on.
Okay. She asked about this. Jen's one about what do I do in 26 and 25? That one?
How do you know when it's time to move to another market? Texas property tax and insurance.
Oh, did I have that in the wrong chat? I'm so sorry.
No,
Early
I
in
don't
the
think you
morning for
have.
me.
I
You're
don't
just
see it.
looking for questions, so.
Yeah, no, thank
Oh,
you.
my question was just like when to let me see if I can go on camera. Okay, sorry.
Oh, there she is.
Sorry, it's early for me. But kind of like when to know like you should pivot to another market. Like we're in Texas and the property tax is higher, the insurance is higher. Kenny's kind of still looking for deals. But my question to you is like, when do you know it's time? Like, is there a length? Is there like, what are you looking for to know it's no longer going to make sense, right?
Yeah. So there's a couple of answers there. One is when your base assumptions start to be proven incorrect. And I would argue that dramatically rising income tax or state property taxes and rising insurance could be those things, right? Those were unplanned for and frankly make the numbers look very different. So that could be enough to push me to a new market when my base assumptions have been proven incorrect meaningfully. That could certainly happen. Another one that I've seen in the building phase is when you've given honest effort, and you can only know if you've given honest effort. When you haven't been able to find something for a year, I think that is a sign. Like if you really do what I talk about and you look 365 days and you've written 50 disrespectful offers and you're not even close, that's a reason. Another one might be, especially for folks like us in California, is, you know, because you are networking, you are growing. Have you found another market where your boots on the ground are better. Like maybe you've established relationships and there's another market that you have some trusted resources that will accelerate. Because again, you could take your experience in Texas, which is the skill of learning a market, and go somewhere else very quickly. The problem is if you're going cold turkey, you still have 6 months of networking and doing all that heavy lift. So there's kind of lots of things that would make me go to a new market. Again, it starts with base assumptions. Um, then it starts, a year of effort. And then is there a new market that because we have been networking that maybe is unlocked and is a little bit of a cheat code? So those are the first three things I think about. Jen?
Okay, yeah, like we have another market like when we were searching, so we have like New Mexico. And then yeah, the networking. So New Mexico would be like for like appreciation slash cash flow, which is kind of what our target is, not like an extreme of either way. And yeah, through networking, Mark or even Lindsay, right? Gary, Indiana. So we've made definitely connections. I think where we struggle is, Kenny, we can still find deals, but it's a lot harder, right? So then we see people like killing it, right? Deal after deal after deal. And we can still find it, but like you said, it takes like a year to find like one.
Yeah.
So then I'm always looking at Kenny for guidance. So is it time to move? Is it time to move? But he's really focused, right? He's conservative, he's focused, a lot of the things that you are. So I'm always asking, should we move now? Like, when's a good time? And he's always like, not yet, not yet. But he
Yeah.
won't finish that sentence. I'm looking
Well,
for somebody else that will. Like, when
yeah, no,
is it the time, right?
yeah,
That's all.
yeah, I love what Kenny's doing. And
He's a
again,
man of few words. He's like, not
yeah, no,
yet.
I love it. I mean, and he'll know. He'll know, right? Because again, at some point you'll get to a point where you're not seeing the return on effort, and I'm sure Kenny,
Yeah, that's his
he
thing.
will recognize that when the time is right. But I've been pig-headed enough and just kept going, just with self-belief, and you're always just one contact away from another deal. So I wouldn't give up on, if Kenny's committed, and again, you got the relationships, you got a track record, it's okay. It's okay. You
Okay.
don't have. And the other thing I would tell you is, and I say this as a guy who is just as guilty, but I just want you to hear this, is don't compare yourself to others. You're on your own path, your own destination. Just because you might see people in our community doing a deal in Gary or Cleveland or Detroit or whatever, that doesn't mean it's right for you. Oh, hey, little one.
Yeah. Okay.
It's early, but yeah, don't not saying you're doing this, but I know I would. Is don't compare yourself to others. You're doing okay.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I do compare, so appreciate that. I compare every day. Thank you.
No problem. Very cool. All right, Stacy, let's go back to your question. Um, so I don't remember if you remember this, but I think it was when did I buy Vegas? What year is it? 25? So that would have been 23. Yeah, I think it was 23. We bought the Vegas property. And in 23, we sold a triplex. It was on Glen. This triplex, when we bought it, was supposed to really had the chance to be the best deal we ever did. We picked it up for a great price. It was literally a duplex, 1-1 side by side in a brand new house. Today we would call it an ADU. It was built as a house, whenever it was 2 decades ago. And for whatever reason, that property for 4 years was just cursed. I think in 4 years we had 8 tenants. We had just it just never worked. It was always the worst performing property. It took up 80% of our head. Like when you have a portfolio of almost 200 and you got a little triplex that's like 90% of the stress, we sold it. We just sold it. We didn't get nearly what we thought we'd get for it, but we were happy to get rid of the headache. So what I would tell you in situation is when you have a property that feels cursed and it's going the wrong way, sometimes is peace of mind is worth it. And I loved getting rid of that Glen property because my stress went down, my headaches went down, and yeah, I mean, I wish the next buyer luck, but yeah, it never worked for us. So sometimes peace of mind is okay. So hopefully that helped, Stacy. All right, let's see if I get one more in because I do have a 9 o'clock interview. Yeah, if you want to learn more about economics, I would research macro and micro, and I would start with the macro. Macro is really how I try to create the daily financial news. Let's see. Yeah, Uneducated Economist is a good follow, absolutely. Although you'll probably have to look up some definitions. He uses some words that you have to go look up. Even I have to go look up sometimes. Let's see. All right, I think that's all I got.
What are your thoughts, Michael? I have one more question. What on about short sales?
Yeah, I think short sales are awesome. I picked up a lot. Just realize a short sale is a process. A fast short sale is 6 months because you have to get the seller involved and the lenders involved. I have no problem with them. It's just realize it is a process. And, if we again talk about the year of 2025 and we talk about recessions, I actually think short sales are going to go up. So it's not a bad fishing ground. You can, if you wanted to do mailers, you can hit up NODs, notice of defaults. I think short sales, if you haven't done short sales, that might be an interesting place to skill up a little bit because we really haven't had short sales meaningfully since, I don't know, 2012. I think they increased from here. I think there's a lot of FHA properties that are really, they should have been foreclosed on, but the government did some wacky seconds and silent seconds. So I think there's a lot of short sales coming, a lot of them in the FHA area. I think that is a wise area to skill up in. I really do. I think, and back to an earlier question from Jen and Kenny, that might be something I would turn Kenny on because again, Texas is going to have a lot of those as well, and maybe there's just a new area to fish. So again, I think short sales are a great area, Angela. I think that was Angela.
Yeah, that was me. Because there's an online masterclass through Corey on short sales. I can share it with everybody if y'all are interested.
Yeah.
It's a live workshop, like 3 or 4 hours. Like they're long, but they're, I think, if that's a good place to be leveling up.
Yeah, again, sometimes this is about just adding more tools to the tool belt. Learning short sales 5 years ago would have been a waste of time. I think short sales are interesting certainly the next 2 years.
Okay.
All right. Well, guys, thank you very much. Thank you for being here. Remember, we will do this again next Sunday inside school. I'll add the link sometime during the week, but trust me, we will be here 8 a.m. next Sunday. I hope to see you there. Take care. Later.
Thank you.
Bye.